So we're going to start our training in hypnosis with first getting a really good definition and an understanding of what hypnosis genuinely is. For some people, they think it's magic. They think it's the most strange and mystical action that they could possibly witness, to see this snap and suddenly the person goes deeply into hypnosis. And it's as though they've been anesthetized and they have no knowledge of what's going on and they do some strange things. Well, that's not really what hypnosis is about at all. Hypnosis is a trance state in which people become very receptive to suggestion. Now that suggestion can be used to shift or alter, I should say, belief or behavior. Now, generally speaking, shifting belief and behavior can only be done within the parameters of what the person who's coming to you for hypnosis is prepared to accept. So if one was to do something in hypnosis which was completely against their belief system, very likely they'd just come straight out of hypnosis. Certainly if you were to hypnotize someone and say, okay, now give me your wallet, give me your PIN number, all the rest of this, except in some unusual circumstances, it's highly unlikely to work in any particular way, because the person's going to feel their security is being threatened. And the moment security is threatened in hypnosis, the person starts to come out of it very rapidly. So hypnosis then does require a degree of collaboration from the subject. This collaborative approach then means that certainly in view of in the area of therapy, you work on this together rather than one person just fixes the problem. It's not quite like that. What happens is the person's put into a hypnotic state, in other words a receptive state, and in that state their behavior and their belief can be moved to a more healthy outcome. Now, when we talk about using it for health issues or for areas relating to people's well-being, then we're probably in the realm of hypnotherapy. But in the area of hypnosis, just getting someone into a hypnotic state, the process is actually very simple. It's a matter of getting them to a state in which they slip into trance. People are in trance many, many times during the day. If you have a memory, or if you can imagine driving a long distance and then that sense of losing track of time, and then you sort of check what the time is and how far you've come, and you suddenly realize, gosh, I've come a lot further than I thought I had. Well, very, very likely you've been in a state of trance during the driving, and it's perfectly safe to drive whilst in a state of trance of that sort. Many people who work, for instance, on programming or on spreadsheets a lot, they'll slip into a trance state. You've seen children perhaps playing video games that lose track of time completely. Well, that's likely because they're in a trance state. Human beings are in trance on a regular basis. It's not that unusual. Some people who do very, very methodical work or very close work find themselves sliding into trance very easily. The process of knitting, for some people, takes them into trance. Bubble wrap can put people into trance. Dancing can put people into trance. Massage. If you look at the Sufis, the way they go round and round, they're getting themselves into a trance state. I lived in Africa for many years, and whilst there, I saw many activities on the part of shaman or sangoma, witch doctors, whatever you want to call them, that really were just the creation of a trance state. And at that stage, the subject or the person they're working with becomes extremely receptive to suggestion. Yoga is another area where people become in a trance-like state, particularly during shavasana, and then are very, very receptive to suggestion. And in the style of hypnosis which we practice at Vancouver Hypnotherapy, these techniques, we call them technical hypnotherapy, where really what we're looking for is the trance state. And once we have people in a trance state, then we can move them into a point of being very receptive to suggestion. So the things which you're going to learn as you work through this online course are methods of achieving that trance state, and then the suggestions which you might use with a subject to either help them or just attain that change in belief or change in behavior. So hypnosis isn't being anesthetized. When people say, are you under? There's a little bit of a it's not a great phrase to use when thinking of hypnosis. There are many times when you can see that the person's in a trance state and that they're receptive to suggestion, and that's when one starts to deliver those suggestions, and that's when the real power of the hypnosis kicks in. And in that instance, many times, one's just reinforcing an existing will to achieve an end, whether it be better studying, to perform better on stage, or to end a smoking habit or something of that nature. That really is what this comes down to, getting them into a good state, getting them receptive, delivering suggestion, and then bringing them out. And this bringing them out of hypnosis is called exiting them from hypnosis, brings them back to a normal state. Now, possibly you've seen reports in the media of some hypnotist who had a heart attack and people were left on stage in a trance state. Well, you know what? Apart from the hypnotist who has the heart attack, the worst that can happen is if someone's left in trance, they just fall asleep. There is nothing that serious that can happen. There are one or two unusual things that can happen in trance in very, very rare cases, and I'm talking about 1 in 1,000. Sometimes people can experience abreactions, we call them, which are reactions, physical twitches or issues of that sort. But it's perfectly all right usually just to let them play out. And it's the body processing out a few little twitches and things. And that can be thought of a little bit like restless leg syndrome, when people are kicking a little bit when they're going to sleep. All in all, hypnosis is safe, hypnosis is fun, hypnosis is very restoring, and we'll talk more about that as we go ahead. But for the sake of understanding what hypnosis actually is it's attaining a receptive state, a trance state, in which we can change a little bit of belief and a little bit of behavior, and thereby attain the ends that we're looking for.